Hello, everyone. This is Dave here at Moonride, and today we're going to channel on two questions. I kind of already did one of these questions, which is about the next election, and will Dems take the House, for example? But I think it's worth doing again. This question goes out to the lovely lady named Tony. The second question is, what are the consequences of that? Whether we win or lose this election for the Democrats, what happens next? All right, let's see what the man in the moon has to say. Okay, so Spirit, will the Dems take the House? All right, I'm seeing the House. I'm actually seeing the place in Washington D.C. All right, wow, it's going to be really close. I see that like it's like half red and half blue. Uh, wow, it's looking really close to 50-50. To tell you the truth, I think there is a slight possibility that it could be 50-50, but then there's just one extra person that sounds like it could be Pence that is going to be Republican. So it might be a perfect split. I'm going to ask again. So is it going to be a split? Okay, he's saying, yeah, it's going to be split right down the middle. Um, So will there be more Republicans? No. Will there be more Democrats? No. It's going to come down to, wow, 50-50. And are we talking about the Senate? Okay, I think this is actually the Senate, not the House. All right. Some spirits don't necessarily know our political system perfectly. All right. So that's the Senate. It could be very, is it the Senate then? That's 50-50. Yeah. So here's the Senate. It has 100 senators. Spirit, is it going to be 50 and 50? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's going to be a close one. How about the House? It appears that the House is going to be mostly blue. So actually, it actually will be a blue. It will be a blue wave. It seems like the blue really is going to be significant. Would it be 2/3? Not quite 2/3, but pretty close. Pretty close. All right. So then the next question, Spirit, is what will this mean? What will happen to Trump if we get these numbers out? Hmm. Well, one thing that we have to say for Trump is he poisoned the waters with all of those people. Now, he insulted every one of those Republicans. They might feel obliged to back him up at some point, but at the other time, they don't like him. And nobody likes a person who's insulted. I see him like actually making the rounds and insulting every single person in the room. And, you got people like Lisa Murkowski and all these guys, there is a consequence to that. There's a certain point where people go, look, I can't take it anymore. And actually, she's coming up specifically and she's crossing her arms and she's saying, no way, man, no way. I'm not putting up with this guy. Um, as we sit here, I'm not sure if Murkowski's House or Senate. Actually, I think Spirit is telling me that it's Senate. So maybe Spirit does know politics as well as me, all right? Or at least our political system. Um, so he's saying Murkowski is going to be one of those people. She's going to say, "Look, I don't care. I mean, my political future, yeah, whatever. But I gotta take a stand here." She really is saying, I can't go there." Um, Anything else that we need to know? So he's getting a bit angry. Like I see Trump kind of getting angry, and he's pounding a gavel, like, "Hey, listen to me. I'm the leader." And people are starting to say no. And I mean, that includes Republicans. And I think one thing people we need to notice is it might not be obvious because they can't make it that obvious, but there are plenty of Republicans who oppose Donald Trump insofar as they can get away with it. And there are some people that have just said to heck with it. I'm not running again. It's just I have too much integrity to back this person. There are other people in the Senate who are going to make problems for him, and they're not the liberal ones. And so, I keep seeing a bang of the gavel. It makes me think that Kavanaugh's not going to get through, and that's going to be one of the issues for Trump is that he's just no longer successful at his abilities to cow everyone into getting them to do stuff. They are starting to say, no, we will not help you. And he's just banging and banging and banging on this gavel. So is Kavanaugh going to make it? I'm going to ask a couple times: is Kavanaugh gonna be the on the Supreme Court? He's saying, no, I don't think so. There's a small possibility of yes, but mostly it's no. Hmm. And is there a reason why? Like, what? Why doesn't Kavanaugh get through? I'm getting that it's because of his past. They just are looking at past decisions he's making. They're not good. He just didn't make good decisions on a legal point, not on an ethical point, but legally his decisions are very suspect. And people like Murkowski and other people, they're not very fond of his. It's not just abortion issues. It's also the just in general. They're like, you know what? We can't just sacrifice our integrity just to be Republicans. We can't. In some sense, that's kind of refreshing. What else do we need to know? I mean, what else is going to happen in around the election? They're turning on him. Trump is pounding that gavel, and he's just not getting it. The people are turning away from him. They don't want to listen to him. They don't like him. And they're starting to collect in groups behind his back and starting to say, look, let's face it, he is a political liability for the Republican Party. The worst thing that could happen to the Republican Party right now is that he doesn't get impeached. He's going to keep making a fool out of himself. He's going to keep, meeting dictators and, taking their word over America's. It's just not sustainable for the Republican Party. People like, oh gosh, I can't. Sometimes when you're doing this work, it's hard to remember names. Who's the fellow with little round glasses? He kind of looks like a pile of dough. What is that guy? Oh, I wish I could remember his name. Any case, one reason that we have, I can't remember his name, is we haven't seen him very often. These guys are secretly behind closed doors talking, and they are not interested in supporting Trump. They understand that he is a liability. Mitch McConnell, that's what I'm thinking as the fleshy, doughy guy with the glasses. He's not a dummy. I mean, we have to admit that whether we agree with these people or not, they're not stupid. They didn't get elected because they're dumb. Um, and is there anything else? Yeah, I keep seeing a circle, and it's like we're going around the circle and we're asking each person, and everyone's shaking their head saying no. Trump does not have really any supporters left. There are the few crazy guys like Jim Jordan, but he's pretty much under investigation for you know supporting pedophilia. I mean, like he's just not a viable person, and I think the people who were really championing Trump are getting quieter and quieter. They're getting more and more marginalized. They're starting to see the writing on the wall. Yeah, everybody's reading the writing on the wall right now. In some sense, it would be better, obviously, if there are Democrats because they will remove him. But in some sense, they are telling me the Congress is actually all facing me right now. And they're saying, well, let me ask a couple of times. Are you guys, they're saying, look, no way. We can't afford Trump. We can't do it. Yeah, he has these crazy people that follow him. We don't want to offend, but he's done. We got to get him out of there. Some of them are thinking, look, before the economy tanks, before he starts really messing stuff up, we got to get him out of there. Because if we get him out of there, then we can blame the next situation on someone else, and we won't have to take the responsibility of it being Trump we voted for. And they're really angry. I mean, I see a few Republicans are really, really angry at this situation. They've been put in an impossible position. Again, I keep seeing Murkowski. She's like, I'm in an impossible position right now. It's impossible for me to lead right now because I have to turn to my crazy constituents and explain it to them. But then I get these questions that are I can't answer. I can't tell them it's okay that he just met with Putin and said Putin's right. And they're on a mission. It's not just a okay, we have to do this. They're kind of on a mission. They're behind closed doors. These guys are actually quite motivated to get rid of him. They don't like him. They don't trust him. They can see the future as being a disaster that's not going to be good for them and their party. They're just weighing a lot of bad options. Like, would it really be worse to impeach him than let him stay in office, even if you're a Republican? It might not be worse to impeach. It will be better in some senses because at least he will shut up and stop tweeting and stop making a fool out of me. She's like, look, I go to these events all the time. Again, Murkowski speaking directly. I go to these events, I'm asked these questions, and I can't answer them. I can't say the truth. I'm stuck every time because there's always one Republican in that body who's going to ask a real question, and I can't lie to them. I can't just say Trump's right, but I can't say Trump's wrong. It's the most uncomfortable experience. She's really like, it's the strangest experience of anybody's political career that you have to stand in front of a body of people and you're asked these questions which you can't answer. He says, Trump is like heroin. You start using that heroin, you can't get off that train. And she's like, now I got a bunch of, she's just like, 28% of my people are addicts and I don't know how to deal with them. I can't keep feeding them crack. I can't keep going with this stuff. She's just like throwing her hands up. I don't know what to do. Literally, I don't know what to do. But by the election, I will know better what to do. And by that time, once we've gone through an election and enough of the Republicans have won, as many as we can get, that's it. There's no other reason to have Trump in office. The crazy people are going to vote Trump, are going to vote Republican anyway. This is just all of the people in the middle are now against us. It's not productive for us to do this. So, okay, I'm seeing Trump again. Yeah, he's kind of rising above these people, but he's just enraged. He's just clenching his fist, and he's just so furious that this is happening. He's got the rage of somebody who's going to go insane, which again I have predicted that at some point he will lose his mind. And he's going higher and higher into the sky. I just get that he's losing it. He's just getting more and more detached from the reality around him, and that's another liability for them. He's just disconnected, ranting, and even his constituents are starting to notice his disconnected rantings. I just see the people standing there just slack jawed, like, "Oh my God, what's he even talking about? This guy's lost it." And not everybody in that crowd, but it's like a growing feeling. They're more and more just kind of going, we just saw this speech and he didn't say anything. And faced with the reality, they're kind of stunned in this reality, like, oh my God, this is what we've created. How did I vote for this person? How did I ever fall prey to this nonsense? They're all looking at me and they're all slack jawed. And there's some other crisis that is coming about that is also going to upend him. I see a fire. I see lots of fires. Now, look, sometimes when I'm seeing these things, they're not literal. They're more a symbol of something else. And the symbol, I'm just getting forest fires. A moon is rising over a burned environment. So something bad happens. Again, it could just be fires or some kind of natural disaster, but something happens. And when the moon rises over it, when it all calms down, when people see, it's interesting that it's moonlight, when people see Via Moonlight, they will start to notice this is just, even his supporters are just like saying, look, this is just what happened. I don't understand what happened. And it's also a lot of people on the left are really motivated. So while the right is kind of slack-jawed, the left is like, we are swinging into action, full on action. We will have no, we'll have no lack of voters this time around because we're really, really invested. And they're coming like people with the pitchforks, they're overwhelming this minority that still supports him, and they're kind of chasing him off. So I actually see like a field, people pitchforks. There's the conservatives who are kind of looking slack-jawed and looking up and realizing, oh my God, we better retreat, and they're retreating. They're moving back. Again, I don't think this is literal or figurative. I think it's like it's a political event where the progressives, the left is just moving, and sort of they're retreating, they're backing up, and they're, they're, all those people are backing into the places where they were in the dark corners before. They're going into hiding again and hiding their true selves. Yeah, nobody's going to admit that they're wrong per se. Is there anything else we need to know? Okay, well, it's going to work out. We're going to overcome this. In a way, the election and who wins is not as important as a movement. Like, that is one detail. The election itself is just one detail in a series of events where, in some sense, if they don't win, in some sense, the left will be even more energized the next time around, and will really take them down. Anything else? I really do see Trump as like almost descending into a sort of madness. He has a crown on his head, and he's just giving that stupid, big, goofy smile that he does when he's like, hey, I've got this crown on my head. But it's almost become like a court jester crown. He's taking the gold crown off and throwing it into the dirt, just throwing it into the ditch. But the clown that the clown hat that he has on, he really thinks is a king's crown. He doesn't know the difference. And I think that he's either completely deluded, or he really is just sort of descending into a fake world of unreality, right? Well, let's just ask, will he be removed? I've seen this before. It's actually the Republicans, the conservatives, the people, they are the people that come and tell him, you need to go, either resign or we will impeach you, you're going to lose. And we don't really care about the temper tantrum. You've already said all the worst things you could possibly say to us. So what are you going to do? Are you going to leave? And he's furious and breaking things and mad, but he will leave. And yeah, he will leave. Yeah, and he will leave at when we decide he will leave, not when he decides. He will have to go. And I think he will resign. I see a piece of paper that he's signing saying that he resigns. Right, on that note, I hope that gives you some hope. Remember that as we're doing this work, the most important thing is to, stay calm and try to do the right thing. Try to be a good person in a world that isn't great. That ultimately will save all of us. Right? Thank you for watching.